Hi everyone, my name is Weimar Munoz. It is a pleasure to participate in this final reflection activity. In this presentation, I will share my reflection on my pedagogical practice, my learning throughout this course, the presentation of my poster, and my experience during the Agora academic event. Throughout this course, I had the opportunity to reflect on important aspects of English teaching, language acquisition, and the role of the teacher in creating meaningful learning experiences. Today, I will briefly present my poster and then answer the guiding question related to my teaching practice and my experiences in Agora. My poster focused on educational case related to Milton and the importance of improving motivation, participation, and confidence in English language learning. The main purpose of this poster was to analyze how teaching strategies can positively impact students who face difficulties in language learning, especially when they show low motivation, limited participation, or lack confidence during classroom activities. An important approach discussed in my work was project-based learning. This methodology is valuable because it encourages active participation, collaboration, creativity, and meaningful communication. Instead of only memorizing information, students become more involved in real text and practical learning experiences. In Milton's case, this approach can help students feel more comfortable, motivated, and engaged in the English learning process. This poster helped me understand that teaching English is not only about transmitting knowledge, but also about creating opportunities for students to participate, think critically, and build confidence. Now, I would like to reflect on the guidance questions. Question 8. What was the most valuable experience in your teaching practice? In my opinion, the most valuable experience in my teaching practice was to understand that every student learns differently and that teaching must be flexible. During this learning process, I realized that the students do not always respond in the same way to methodology. Some students need visual support, while others need interaction, collaboration, or practical activities to feel motivated. This reflection helped me understand the importance of adapting teaching strategies according to students' needs, interests, and learning context. Another valuable lesson was recognized that emotional factors such as confidence, motivation, and participation strongly influence language learning. If a student feels anxious, insecure, or disconnected, learning becomes more difficult. For this reason, the teacher must create supportive and participatory environments where students feel safe to express themselves. This experience also helped me understand that teaching is a continuous learning process. As a future teachers, we must constantly reflect, adapt, and improve. For me, this was one of the most meaningful lessons of my pedagogical practice. Question B. How did your vision of language acquisition evolve throughout the course? At the beginning of this course, I believed that language acquisition was mainly related to grammar, vocabulary, and repetition. However, throughout the course, my perspective changed significantly. I learned that language acquisition is a dynamic and meaningful process that involves communication, interaction, context, and motivation. I understood that students do not acquire a language only by memorizing structures. They learn better when they use a language in real situations and meaningful experiences. This course also showed me that emotional and social factors are very important. Confidence, participation, anxiety, and classroom interaction affect the language acquisition. As a future teachers, we need to create a space where students feel motivated to communicate naturally. Now I understand that language acquisition is not only cognitive, but also social, emotional, and interactive. This course expanded my understanding of how language are learned and how teaching strategies can influence that process. Question C. Which activity or poster from Agora inspired you the most and why? The activity that inspired me the most during the Agora poster presentation was the poster titled Beyond the Textbook Exploring Language Teaching Methodologies. This poster caught my attention because it clearly showed that English teaching goes beyond traditional textbook and recurrent methodologies that promote active participation, communication, and meaningful learning. What I found most interesting was that the poster presented different language teaching methodologies and explained how each one can respond to different learning needs and classroom context. Among those, the methodology, the natural approach, especially caught my attention. This approach seemed very meaningful to me because it focuses on communication, comprehension, and natural language acquisition learning, and only grammatical accuracy. It emphasizes creating low anxiety learning environments where students feel comfortable listening, understanding, and gradually expressing themselves in English. I found this particularly important because many students learn better when they feel confident and supported rather than pressured to speak perfectly. This idea strongly connects with educational situations such as Milton case, where our motivation, confidence, and participation are essential factors in learning. In addition, the poster helped me understand that there is not only perfect methodology for teaching English. Teachers need to be flexible and select strategies according to students' needs, learning styles, and educational goals. Another aspect that inspired me was that this poster directly relates to my future role as an English teacher. It reminded me that teaching is not only about explaining grammar or vocabulary, but also about creating, motivating, studying centered, and meaningful learning experiences. Finally, this poster inspired me because it reinforced the importance of creativity, adaptation, and understanding how students naturally learn languages. Without a doubt, it was one of the most meaningful contributions of the Agora event to my growth as a future teacher. Question D. What does the Agora event leave you as a future teacher? What the Agora events leaves me as a future teacher is the importance of collaboration, reflection, creativity, and continuous learning. One of the most valuable aspects of this event was that students from different academic courses participated, such as didactic of English, language acquisition and learning, and foreign language teaching methodology. This allowed us to observe different perspectives on language teaching and learning. I realized that teaching English is not only about grammar or vocabulary, but also about creativity, communication, motivation, and understanding of students' needs. Another important lesson was the value of sharing academic experiences and learning from other teachers. His presentation reflected commitment, effort, innovation, and pedagogical reflection. This reminded me that education is collaborative. Teachers can grow professionally by listening to others, exchanging strategies, and reflecting on real educational challenges. I also learned that every classroom is different. For this reason, teachers must be flexible and adapt methodologies according to context and students' needs. Finally, Agora helped me understand becoming a good English teacher required not only knowledge, but also empathy, reflection, creativity, patience, and constant improvement. This experience was very enriching for me academic and professional growth. To conclude, this course will allow me deeply reflect on language teaching, language acquisition, and the importance of meaningful pedagogical practice. Through my poster Milton case and the Agora event, I understand that teaching English requires much more than academic knowledge. It requires empathy, innovation, flexibility, reflection, and, and commitment to students' learning process. As a future English teacher, I hope to create learning environments where students feel motivated, safe, and actively involved in their education. I also want to continue learning, improving my teaching strategies, and contributing positively to language education. This experience helped me grow not only academically, but also personally and professionally. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention. It was a valuable experience to participate in this reflection activity. I appreciate the opportunity to share my learning process and perspectives as a future teacher. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.